We're going to move on to name association, a little game. I'm going to give you a sentence, a description. You tell me the first name that comes into your mind. It can be from any locker room in history that you were involved with. The first question is the funniest person in the locker room.
Brian Lee was the funniest person in the locker room.
Why, jokes or?
No, he was just funny. He was just the way he talked was funny. Everything was funny. Like he was just like, one time the first time I ever broke character was in Lulu Temple for ECW, and I'm sitting in the corner, and it's a long story about why I was getting ready to laugh, but I made Stevie. Try to make it as short as I can. Stevie, I had him dress out as a Colonel, as a Baron von Stevie, and Colonel and he had a bald skin cap on, but the bald skin cap kept sliding up, so his hair would stick out, and it would come to like a eggshell point, like an egg point, egg circle point, not a point, but, and he's going, he goes, yeah, and he's talking to the meanie, who was Colonel Domini, Colonel De Beers with Colonel Domini, and he goes, whatever he was saying to the meanie, he goes, do we have the claw, meanie? Or something. It was just so funny. And Brian Lee's, and at the Lulu Temple, it's on a slope, I think, the building, so that the ring, he was at the same height as me. Maybe it was a regular size. I don't know, but anyway, he was like his mouth was at my ear. It was like the perfect height. And he's like, "That's some funny shit. Why ain't you laughing? That's some funny shit." And so which made me actually start to laugh. So so I was looking at the crowd, looking out, because I'm sitting in the corner, and he's saying that, and I'm like, and I hide my face, and then my shoulders started heaving, and then I didn't hide that. I'd stick. And then I'd have to bend over again, and my shoulders would heave some more. And the whole time he kept going, why ain't you laughing at that shit? That's some funny shit. And then one time, one of the funniest things he ever said was, like, Sandman got choke slammed, and Sandman doesn't get any height at all. He goes, I seen people fall off a skateboard and get more height.
Where did Brian Lee disappear to? He seems to just fall off the face of the earth.
I don't know.
We're going to move on. And I have to always clarify this, last man standing at the bar drinking wise. The last man
me and Jericho, and we're always at the last two at the bar, along with Kurt Hennig and Mongo McMichael in WCW. And so we called ourselves the Drunken Four Horsemen, except that two of them didn't know they were in it. Like they didn't know that. Yeah, Kurt and Mongo had no idea they were in our group, the Drunken Four Horsemen, and they had no. I don't think they had any idea that they were always the last two left in the bar with me and Jericho. But we always, but me and Jericho, we're young kids, so we're totally aware that that it just got ridiculous. That every night we'd always be hanging out in the bar till close or after, and then there would be the same two. No matter who else came through, there's always the four of us who were in there.
You don't have to give me the number, of course, but biggest single payoff for an event.
Biggest single payoff was for WrestleMania 19 was 7. No, was I in 17?
Oh, the Big Show Kane one. Yeah,
WrestleMania.
Most dangerous situation you ever found yourself in? Or should we pull the gun in the back of the head?
That was only the second time I had a gun put on me.
What was the first?
It's way too crass.
Not for this show, but shall we move on anyway?
Long story short, the guy pulled a gun on me. He comes in the back. I was in the back of some club. And the girl was going down on me, and the guy comes up and he goes, "My boss says you're with his girlfriend," and he pulls a gun out and he goes, and I'm thinking, oh shit, and I'm thinking it's the girl that's on me, and I'm trying to think how I can make a move and get to him to not get shot, or to stop him or to get the gun out of his hand. And he's far enough away that I'm kind of screwed. And he's like, when you were at that club, it doesn't even acknowledge the chick's, the chick has stopped at that point, obviously. But he goes, you were at that club you were at earlier. I think it was Delilah's, or no, it was, I forget where I was earlier, but it was here in Philly. And he goes, the girl you were with earlier, that's my boss. My boss has a crush on her, and you better stay away from her. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't even know. I didn't even get the girl's number, I don't think. And so the guy leaves, and I tell my buddy about it. He's like, man, let's go get that guy. So we come over. So we go over to get the guy sitting at the bar now. He didn't leave like an idiot. And so we go over to him and accost him, and he goes, man, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. Let me buy you some drinks. So he just bought us drinks the rest of the night, and all was forgiven.
No, it's not too bad then in the end.
Yeah.
Best working punch?
It may not be considered the best working punch. Like, it may not look the most realistic, but I love it for wrestling is Lawler's.
Yeah. He's probably the name we get the most out of anyone anyway. So
really? Not Bobby Eaton?
Bobby Eaton, Jerry Lawler. We had a couple recently, Scott Hall, who said best punch. But I don't know if you'd agree with that assessment.
Yeah, Scott Hall had a good punch.
I'm going to skip that one and go most high-strung, edgy or nervous, that kind of thing.
I'd rather not say.
Okay. Biggest stooge for the dirt sheets, Skip?
I don't know who that would be. I'm sure everybody on top goes to the dirt sheets, you know.
This will encompass all the promotions, but the best and worst road agents you ever had?
Worst is Lanza.
Really?
Yeah, well, he didn't like me. We didn't get along, so that's probably part of it. And but he wasn't the worst. I mean, it's not that he was the worst. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they never really affected me. You know what I mean? Like, I was always able to do my own thing. So
no agents would suggest, or they make suggestions, but you just do your own thing anyway, kind of thing.
Well, no. I mean, you have to do what they do. What you'd have to do in certain instructions that they wanted done. You'd have to do that, but I mean, they were all back in the day. They were all old timers guys, and they weren't. Most of them weren't forward thinking as far as like psychology. I mean, not psychology, but like they were set in their ways. Like nowadays you have guys, younger guys doing it, Jerry Lynn's and Dean Malenkos, who aren't so set in their ways, you know what I mean? Who aren't set in their ways. Let's see. ECW, we didn't have any. Portland, we didn't have any. Florida Championship Wrestling, we didn't have any. The only place I had one was WCW and WWE.
With the non in TNA?
No, I don't think so. Not when I was there.
Okay.
If there were, I don't remember.
Smoothest worker?
Smoothest worker? Brad Armstrong. Is he the usual answer?
He usually comes up for funniest person as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heaviest smoker? Just the regular cigarettes.
Heaviest?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Sandman's a smoker, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of smokers. There wasn't a lot when I was doing it. When I was in the main, in the thick of things. At least not that I knew of.
We'll ask a couple more, then we'll talk about the game. And most memorable backstage fight?
I haven't seen a lot of backstage fights.
No. You weren't in any, were you?
I was in one with the Equalizer. With Dave Sullivan, Kevin Sullivan's bigger brother, Dave Sullivan, in Portland. It was my fault. I started it and he finished it, but it was all my fault. It's a long story, but he hit me so hard that everything went glassy. It was really weird. Now, like it looked like everything was a piece of broken. Like it looked like everything was little segments of glass. You know how glass looks like that when you break it. The breaking with the breakable glass. That's how everything looked.
Oh, like the tempered.
Yeah. That's how it looked. When it's broken, that's how it looked.
Was it just simply being green?
No, he was good. No, it wasn't. It was. I don't want to go into it, but it was suffice to say it was my fault, and I apologized later. He got the better of me.
Strangest sights you ever witnessed at the Philly Travel Lodge?
Can't say. It's way too absurd and gross. And It's not good for mixed company or any company.
Fair enough then. I'll give you a couple from WCW, then we'll wrap it up.